Coming soon on video and DVD.
"20 years ago, a prank took his life.
Remember, you can't tell anybody about this or you're dead.
A curse was born. The quiet little town of Brower, Illinois moved on.
So what happened?
One day, he just up and disappeared. I say it doesn't add up. There's something we're missing here.
Until
My husband, God rest his soul, he was obsessed with that video store. All kinds of weird things used to happen there.
Yeah, fascinating. Hope you sell the rest of your shit, lady.
What's all that?
We hit a bunch of garage sales today and got all these movies and stuff.
Yeah, check it out. Thought we could maybe like hook this thing up, see if there's any like homemade porn, snuff films.
You guys bought VCR and Rewinder? You know you don't really need this. Was this supposed to sound like that? Probably not, but it's seen better days.
At least it still works.
Must be my lucky day.
and now Jacob is back.
911, what's your emergency?
My friends, there's blood everywhere. They're all hurt. They're hurt real bad.
Sir, are you there?
No. No, I'm sorry. No.
Tapehead, the return of Jacob Cobb.
It's Brower, Illinois. What's the worst that could happen?
And now, our feature presentation.
I'm too. Very excited. So, all right. Well, so here we are, and I mean, I have to introduce you. I mean, I can't just like, hey, there's this other lady in that room over here. So today, in the horror section, Savvy and I decided to kite. All right. First of all, it's Halloween week.
Yes,
it is
it is.
October 29th. It is like 2 in the afternoon. Like it's almost the big day, guys. It's almost the big day. Exactly. I know. I'm so excited. I can feel it in the air. But Savvy and I decided to, meet up at the, in the horror section, the local video store and just kind of chat before Halloween. And guess who we ran into? None other than Summer Flynn from the Dolls of Horror. Everyone give it up for Summer. So glad she's here. Yay!
It's nice to finally meet you, Summer.
Nice to meet you, Savvy and Wes. It's so amazing to talk to you again. It's been so long since we text and such, but it's been so long since we've talked.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, God, it might
have
been
my wife today
on my show. I don't even remember.
Yeah. Well, I was telling her, I was like, back when we did audio stuff, like my internet sucked in my house, so I literally had to drive to McDonald's and use the Wi-Fi at McDonald's to do the show.
Yeah, I remember you were in the car.
Hey,
I think
it's
the
a good
episode
thing we have
was,
that option sometimes.
I think the episode was Scream,
I think so.
or was it
so.
Ticks?
I mean,
so one of the two.
Well, I think we do too. The first one was Scream.
I can't remember
the next
which
one was
was
Ticks.
first.
I think Tex was next. I think so. I think Scream was like my inaugural,
That's right.
episode. So
Of course, it has to be.
But,
so I told Wes I'm wearing a very special outfit in honor of the occasion, most in honor of him. I mean, no offense, Savvy, but I pulled out
None
the
taken.
It's a Horror podcast shirt.
wow.
No way.
That
Oh my
Wes-
God. Look at me. And Kevin, look at my beard though. Look at my beard there, and look at
Yep.
that.
Yep.
That's insane.
There's some contrast there, I see.
I mean, it's like bright white and like dark brown. What in the world?
Now that I've showed it, now I can sit back and relax.
There you go. Yes. Chill
But
out.
Wes gifted me the shirt when It's a Horror podcast first started, and it's my favorite. And
That's-
so
well,
I
that's
save it
all
for
mine, so-
special. I save it for special occasions, and I can't think of a more special occasion than this.
Oh, that's great.
Seriously.
That's sweetie.
I thank you so much.
We gotta put out our merch soon too, though.
I know we got to get ours going.
I've had people asking for our merch on our logo.
Really? See, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
man, I want something.
But
I'll
it's
buy
funny
something.
because
another one.
Well, I mean, I'll give one to you. But I'm actually trying to get my stack shirt stuff going back again, and I think I figured it out. Public is being a little bitch, and I am trying to circumvent all their bullshit right now. I think I figured it out, so I think we're good to go. Because like they're going to start verifying all their artists and verifying their storefronts, and if I have copyrighted stuff on there, I'm screwed. But I said unagi. I figured it out here, so we're good.
I had an issue with my merch store. I've used TeePublic before, and it's fine. It was expensive, but it was fine. It was really good for totes. Their totes were the best quality.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I'm opening up my Diet Dr. Pepper while I'm standing in the horse.
It's all good.
Yes. So Sabby and I both have our mugs. Why don't you show us our mug there, bud? Put your mug.
I love the mug.
Yeah.
I have Dolls of Horror mugs, but it has my former co-host on it, so I'm not bringing it out. Because fuck that bitch. Yeah, I said what I said.
I like the attitude.
So I got my Diet Dr. Pepper, not a sponsor, but I love it.
I thought you guys were still talking. I thought you guys were good.
Oh, no? Tori.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tori is great.
You're talking about
fucking Jamie.
One. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, Tori and I have always been friends.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
Tori and I have always been friends.
Still. Yeah, but I say Tori, I thought you can talk because that's something out there. Okay, I got you now.
Oh yeah, no. I'll tell you the whole story of how shit went down later. But it was when we're done.
Whatever you feel like.
But it was a messy situation. Behind the scenes, backstabbing. People told me when I wasn't around. They told me what they saw at the convention and everything. So I'm just like, bitches. Anyways, moving on. It's been almost a year. It was the week before Thanksgiving when shit hit the fan, and so moving on. I still haven't. I got a new logo with me only on it. The Clark is amazing, and he created 2 new logos for me. He created the old logo with just me because I loved it so much because I was a ballerina with an axe and stuff. And so I got that one with just me, and then the newer logo, he has me as like a marionette.
Perfect. That's awesome.
You know, because dolls.
I love those.
That works.
So great.
Anyhow,
good stuff.
I forgot where I was going with this, but anyway.
Yeah, we got my show can go on. Yes, gotta have it. Well, and another reason why I wanted you to have on the show is first of all, let's give us just a short little history real quick. So, the shirt, obviously, Hatoro podcast. Kevin and I did a show for a long time, and Summer one day hit me up and she's like, "Hey, I want to start a podcast. What do I do? Where do we go? I don't know what I'm doing here." So Kevin and I both said, "All right, here's what you do." We just kind of spilled it out there and said, "All right, here's what you do. If you need any help, let us know." And
I needed help.
But you just took off. You just
I needed help.
Took off. But you did. But you picked up very quick. So no qualms there at all. So she's ran with it, and you guys did a great job. And to top it all off, and I gotta get the time limit here because time for me is just I'm old, so I can't keep time. But you got hired on by Days of the Dead, the convention, like the massive major convention for horror, to do all their panels. I know. So like I was so excited. I was like, that's the coolest thing ever. I'm so glad you guys got to do that and are still doing it now. So tell us a little bit how you got involved with that. Like what started all that?
Okay, so first of all, Wes is being modest. I begged him for help, and he very generously gave it. So what had happened was on my end is that I followed him on Instagram. Everything starts on Instagram, right? Yeah. And I'm like, oh, new podcast. Okay, I'll listen. And so I listened to, because I'm a purist, I went back. I think you had maybe 5 episodes out at the time. So I went back to the very first episode, and I went, this sounds really good. Like, it sounds good, and they're good, and it's very interesting, and they're saying interesting things, and it sounds good. Like, it sounds like they're in the same room, because I'm dumb and I don't know any better. And so I messaged you on Instagram, and I was like, so how do you start a podcast? Like, what do you do? Literally, what do you do? What do you buy? What do you use? What do you do? And he told me everything. He sent me pictures of his equipment, what he bought. He's told me which programs he used. He told me everything. And I'm like, so are you guys in the same room? And you're like, no. I'm like, really? Okay. And so I bought all the things. And I opened up an account. I looked at the profile, the platforms and everything that you told me to. And then I came back with questions many a time to you and Kevin both, but mainly you, because you're the person I started talking with. Sure. And I went to my bestie, Tori, and I sent her the link to your show. And I said, you know, these boys have a podcast and it's really fun looking. And do you want to do a podcast? And she's like, yeah, we could do that. And so this was in June, July of 2019. And so we spitballed a little bit what we want the show to be, the format we wanted, because I started listening to a bunch of different podcasts for research of what not to do. And what bothered me a lot about shows is movie review shows is they picked a movie and they just talked about it generally, and it was really boring because it was always the same, and there was a lot of awkward silences. Like,
that's us. Like we don't do that very much at all. Like it's be like a special episode or something like that to do that. So yeah, we understand.
Yeah,
we try not to be too technical.
They would have nothing to talk about. They'd be like, so that's it. And that was really cringe to listen to. And so I said, well, let's not do that. And so we decided to have a format of reviewing movies, but in a certain format that was different than anything else I was listening to. And I really haven't heard much any other episode or show that's done it like that since. There's a gazillion shows out there, so it could be. But we decided to break each movie down by topic, by segment. So we got our favorite kill, our fashion moment, our hair. An epic line is my favorite, you know, because there's so many quotables in these movies. Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
We'll talk cinematography, music, effects, and just each segment. And sometimes they run longer than others. And it worked out really well because there were no pauses. When we were done talking about that topic, move on to the next topic of that movie. And so when we finally got our format down, we just did it and launched in November of 2019. And it was really rough sounding. I go back and I listen to those first few months. I'm like, ooh.
Those first were always.
Even our first few episodes, I go back and it's like, oh, we didn't have lights set up yet. Didn't have like an angle set up yet. And it was kind of just like, ooh.
Yeah, but it's
start from here.
That's birth. You know, it's really birthing a show. So you know, birth is messy and it is crazy and it's off the wall. So you get that birth down, you come out and it's like, all right, now it's time to grow, and you just grow into what you want to be. So
right, and so that was November 2019. In July of 2020, of course, we all know what happens in 2020, and
COVID.
Days of the Dead decided to still hold what I call COVID Con in July of 2020 in Indianapolis. And I was planning to go anyway, and I went again, and it was done safely. It was done distanced. It was done with masks, sanitizer every like 10 feet. Seriously, not kidding. Sanitizing stations all over that bitch. And nobody reported getting COVID. Like no patrons and no guests got COVID.
That's great.
And it proved that you could do an event like this safely in that environment, because no one said anything about getting COVID. I didn't. And then I just so happened, I talked to Bill, the owner, at that convention. I said, thank you for holding this convention because we just all want to hang out with each other again. Right. And he was like, oh, thank God, because apparently he was getting a lot of harassment and threats and all sorts of shit for holding a con during COVID. And it's like, you know, if you don't agree with it, just don't go. Don't go.
Yeah.
And so, and so 2 weeks later, I went to go help Christy Adams open her toy store in Vegas because she was having her grand opening.
Ooh, Nightmare Toys. Woo.
Nightmare Toys. Shout out to Nightmare Toys. And I had already put in for days off requests for another con that was canceled, and they weren't going to let me retract my days off requests because I wasn't going now. So I'm like, well, I got to take this week off anyway. Christy, you need help? And so I went, and Bill just happened to be there because he had done business with Christy because he lived in Vegas at the time. So he happened to be there. It was 2 weeks later. That's when he told me no one got COVID. And he's like, thank God. And then, so I saw him twice in 2 weeks. And so I think that might have put me fresh in his brain, you know, and I was nice to him when no one else was. And then he calls me up a couple weeks later after that. And I'm like, well, why are you calling me? No one calls me. You know? And yeah, that's when I got the offer. And so I officially came on board in early September of 2020. I did my first con with them in April of 2021. And I've done every con since after that.
That's it. I love following you on Instagram and Facebook and everything, watching everybody you to talk to, and I'm just like I'm just blown away. Like I am blown away, and I listen to all your stuff on YouTube and all the interviews and stuff, and it's just I'm proud of you, first of all, just where you started and where you are now. But like it's just so cool. It's just so incredibly cool.
Well, this is all because of you. Like, if you hadn't if you had not given me direction, if you and Kevin had not helped me on this, which is why I'm wearing your faces on my tits right now. If you guys had not guided me along the way, if you had chosen to be assholes, it's like, no, figure it out, then I would have just quit. I never would have even started it. And none of this would have ever happened. This is directly because of you two and your kindness and helping and being so open about it. And I told Kevin this because Kevin showed up at Days of the Dead Indy last year and took a picture of me on stage and didn't come and say hi at all.
He didn't.
And I know. And I didn't even know he was there. And I'm like, dude. He's like, because you were busy. I said, yes, but this is directly because of you guys. So I wouldn't even be doing this if it wasn't for you. So you better never do that shit again.
Yeah, seriously. I don't know what his problem is, asshole.
Maybe he was shy. I don't know. I heard when he guested on your show, he was having some anxiety. Maybe that was in the way. I don't know. But I was like,
sometimes that these people that you know online, when you run into them, it's just they might be socially awkward, things like that.
It is different. You're
I
right.
just came back from a con on the weekend, and there's a couple people I ran into that just and I was like, I gave them a smile and a head nod, and they didn't seem like they wanted to say hi, so whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah, man. But I'm like, this is all because of you, man. Both of you guys. I would not be doing this, and I would not have any of the success if it wasn't for your guidance in the beginning. This is directly because of you, and I am so grateful. And I say it all the time, and I'll say it for forever because I'll never forget what you did for me. And so thank you so much.
Well, you're very, very welcome, Elisa. We are so flattered. But time.
I'm gonna cry
rolls
because
on.
this is literally.
Don't cry. It's okay.
Your generosity and kindness, because it's not always that way out there in the competitive world of podcasting and horror.
That's very true. It's
at
very
all.
True. You're right. You're exactly right.
It's cutthroat out there, and you just happen to be very generous and giving.
Well, I mean, if the way I view it is the fact if you're doing something like this, popular or not, and you just enjoy doing what you do, and someone's like, hey, we want to do it too, rather than be like, oh, she may steal my listeners or she may steal my idea. No, we have to support each other no matter what it is. Like, if you're going to be that petty, go somewhere else,
Wes, you're the most supportive person I know, hands down. That's for sure.
I tried.
I really agree with the exception
you both are too.
I completely agree with the exception of my former co-host podcast. Fuck that bitch. As I said. Like, no.
Oh,
you cannot support us both. Going back to that old philosopher's saying, the friend of my enemy is also my enemy.
Yeah. I have not
Call
listened
me
to
petty party of one right here. Don't care. It was so dirty and so messy and so hurtful that people who know the background of it, you still choose to be friends with her, then that's a problem for me, because I can't
the way it goes sometimes,
But with everything else you said, with every single other person out there, definitely completely agree, support and love.
True. I'll step back for a second, let that go, and then we'll continue. But I definitely agree with that. So definitely. but no, I have always found myself watching your videos and you're talking to these just horror legends, and I'm like, how do you compose yourself? How do you sit across from Bill Moseley or Adam Green or Kane Hodder? Or I just watched the Kane Hodder one today. I was like, that's insanity.
I was just watching some clips. He's talking to Greg Nicotero. Yeah.
I mean,
and he was just at the convention I was at.
Yeah.
Were you at Frightmare? Savvy? Oh man, I wanted to go to that one so bad.
Me too.
One day.
It was pretty good. A lot of big names canceled, but it was pretty good.
Oh, who canceled?
Yeah. We had Sam Raimi cancel. We had Tony Todd cancel. We had Richard Dreyfuss cancel. We had a couple other guys from Jaws cancel. We had Mark Patton, I believe, from Nightmare on Elm Street 2 canceled. But we still had some big. We had Tom Savini, we had Greg Nicotero. We had a bunch of of good guys from the Child's Play cast. But
a few of those gentlemen are having severe health issues.
I've heard that.
They're getting older, and Tom Atkins is he's still in good health, but you can tell he's just right now. When I saw Sid Haig, especially,
you get old, man. He was getting old when he did Halloween 3.
He was not. You took that back.
He was. Look at his actual age.
It seems like he's always been the same age, though. It seems like he
exactly.
Seems like he went to 55,
like
60 and
30-year
stopped.
gap where he was the same age,
and he's been like that the whole time.
It's like Beetlejuice and then Beetlejuice.
Right. No, man, I've always wanted to do Frightmare so much. It's really hard for me to get to because I don't have a driver's license. I don't have a car.
Oh yeah,
so
that makes sense.
it's a difficult one to get to if you don't drive because the fights there's nothing around there, and so got to go fly in and then cross the border, but you got to have a car.
Yeah.
Right. So Wes, if you ever want to do that con and want to like tandem up, I'll totally go with you.
We're on it.
You let me know when it happens.
I'll pay for gas and you drive.
Well, I will definitely. Well, also Savvy, we'll meet up and we'll just have a good time. So
man,
for sure.
Just throwing it out there.
It's not that far for me, so.
Yeah,
right.
It was like an hour and a half of you or something like that.
Yeah, about an hour and a half.
Oh, very nice.
That's
an hour and a half there. I think it was like less than an hour back. So
nice.
Yeah.
So going back to what you asked me, because I get so distracted. How do I compose myself? How do I compose myself with these legends?
Yeah.
I was really nervous in the beginning. I mean, my first convention, shaking. My first interview was David Naughton. Second interview was Tony Todd. Third interview, Joe Bob.
Oh my God! Boom, boom, boom.
My heart rate on my little Fitbit sitting still read 150. It normally reads 60.
I bet.
I mean, it was like I was running, but I wasn't running. And I think I did okay, right?
I think you did great.
Yeah.
On that first time, but I was shaking like a leaf inside. And now it's easier because I know a lot of people now. There are some people who I am a little bit of a fangirl over, and it's like Veronica Cartwright.
Oh,
I fangirled so hard over her, and I told her that. I said, I'm going to try not to fangirl too much.
They love that shit, though. Who cares?
And she was so kind and so gracious. And I had a meal with her the night before, and she was just lovely. I never met her before, ever. And so, but I was very nervous and excited for that one, and she was great. And, if you watch my shit, I go ahead. Can I swear?
Holy shit.
Okay.
Fucking cuss all you want.
If you watch my shit, I ask weird questions and I keep it strange. And so I opened it up. I asked her about Baywatch because she was in the pilot of Baywatch before it went into syndication. So like the lost season. Right. Yep. So she was in the pilot of that. And so cool. Then I asked her about some other things that she did. Touched by an Angel was one of them. And then, I went to the horror and I did, okay, so we all want to know about horror, not Touched by an Angel. So then I went into Body Snatchers and Candyman 2. And then finally, Alien. And then I let the audience have it. But that one I fangirled over a little bit on the inside, especially my heart was like, ooh. And who else?
I love you.
Yeah, but most of the time I know these people a little bit. And so it's easier.
Oh, that helps, yeah.
Talk to them like friends and ask them about their experiences as you would a friend, not as an interviewer.
True. Very true.
It is. I remember the first time I had pretty much the only time I had an interaction. So I interviewed Keith David at a premiere.
So nice.
And I said his name backwards. I was so nervous.
So easy to do though with that name.
David Keith, that was a good one.
Yeah, and he's like, that's another actor. I'm like, oh my God, I know. Yep. Kill me now. Goliath,
that's a white guy.
Just gave me shit. But I got to hang out with him for a while at a premiere, and that was back when I was in college, years back. And he was super, super cool, super chill. But when I was approaching him, I was like, I know the feeling. It's when they're nice, it's so much easier.
Oh, it's even. I interviewed Lee Waddell, and
yeah.
I mean, that was incredible. But of course, my dumbass forgot to record anything, so it was just for me.
God, I wanted to talk to him so bad.
Dude.
I've never gotten to meet him. He's kind of a hero. I mean, God,
He's so cool. He was so great. But like my heart was just going the entire time. I was like, okay, calm down, breathe.
Yep.
You know, like this dude is like come in contact with Wes Craven. Like, oh my God. You know?
Basically, come in contact with a genius like that. And I'll tell you what, you know, I've done a lot of conventions now, and I've done a lot of interviews, and it doesn't matter how many I've done. I have the same experience. The first interview of the convention, the first one on Friday, I am terrified. I am nervous. I am shaking. And I'm just like, okay, shake out the jitters. Woo!
Yeah.
And then, and I'm really just like heart's going, and I'm feeling a little lightheaded, and I'm just like freaking the fuck out. And then after that first interview, it doesn't matter who it is. Every time after that first interview, I kind of get my sea legs back, and I'm good for the rest of the weekend. But that first one on a Friday is rough.
I think that happens though because you care, you know, because it is important to you. And
very true.
When your heart's in it, it's, you know, every relationship, it's like falling in love all over again, you know?
Yeah,
it's true. Very accurate.
And knock wood, I've only had 1 or 2 people that are just insufferable pricks. Like literally, of all the people I've ever met at these conventions or in life, celebrity-wise, because I work at restaurants out here in Chicago, so it's like a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure.
Who wander in. And so of all the people I've ever met, I think I've only had a negative experience with 2, which is not a bad statistic.
That's pretty good.
That's not bad at all.
Right.
I would ask you to divulge that, but also that might hurt your.
No, I'll divulge. I'll divulge out there.
Cool. All right, we'll do it off air because I definitely know who they are, but I don't want to share that around because we don't want to share negativity, but we also got to know it too.
You want to know the tea, but yeah.
Right.
So, but I'll divulge to friends, right? And
of course.
But everyone, for the most part, has been super duper generous and kind and loving and giving, and in some cases, are actual friends. I mean,
that's cool.
I have these people's phone numbers and home addresses, not PO boxes, home addresses.
That's crazy.
Right? I send Christmas cards. I visit them when I'm in LA. I mean, I have these people's stuff, like personal information that they trust me with because we're friends. And it still is unreal to think that we're friends.
Yeah.
Like, they consider me a friend. It's weird.
I get it. That is, again, and you deserve that. Like I said, you've worked really hard to get where you are. And it just makes my heart smile to know that you're doing this and meeting all these cool people and doing this amazing job. Like, it just makes me very proud. So
I still can't believe it. It's crazy.
I bet. I can't believe it. I still can't believe it. I'm like, holy shit, she's like made it.
It's cray. It's wild.
It is.
No, but I'm
awesome.
Very proud to be a part of the Days of the Dead family. Very, very, very proud to be a part of the organization. And I take that very seriously. And I conduct myself as a representative of the con.
Right.
Some people who are associated with cons, they just, they do their job when they're there professionally, but then when it's after hours, they just behave any old way. And maybe that's because of my corporate background and my customer service background, but when you do that, even if you're on the premise working in an event, even if you're not working, your behavior directly affects the organization.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I don't get drunk. I'll have a drink. I don't get drunk at these things. I am very, very aware of everything that's going on around me and what I am saying and who I'm talking to and who's listening. So I take it very seriously because I represent the convention. And I don't ever want
back on you or them.
Right. I don't ever want to bring anything negative to them. So, yeah.
Yep. That's amazing. Another question I have to ask. I mean, I have all these questions just in my head for like the past week. And I'm just like,
bring them on.
Let's do it.
So your favorite interview you've ever had, and even taking out the most famous people, but just anyone you've interviewed from the start of your first convention to now, who has been your favorite?
There's so many amazing ones.
I'm sure. Just pick one. You don't have to think about it too long.
I'm always inclined. I tell people this because, like, when non-horror people ask me who's the most famous person you've interviewed, and it's the one I go to because that's someone that everyone knows is Malcolm McDowell. But he really is a good interview for someone like me because I'm a smart ass and he's a smart ass.
Well, that sounds fun.
He also puts up with no bullshit, and he puts up with no stupidity, and that's why. I don't either, and that's why I get myself in trouble at work a lot. But so we have a great banter, and we get along really well. And I didn't know this until later, but his manager told me that he doesn't like very many people, and I knew this because on my initial research for the first time, I noticed he never had a moderator, so he normally doesn't let people even moderate for him a lot because they ask stupid ass questions. And so he lets me do it every single time. So honored.
Great.
And his interviews are always hilarious. He is so fucking funny. So that's got to be one of the tops every single time. Different interview, it doesn't matter. Every time I talk to Malcolm, it's a winner. And I loved talking to Julian Sands, R.I.P.
Oh,
he was a great interview. He's so intelligent and educated and just who was a brilliant human. And so he was a top one for me. God, there's so many amazing conversations I've gotten to have. Heather Langenkamp's always a winner. We always talk about some fun stuff.
She was a doll. Oh my God. Yeah. Meeting her and Nev, that was like my two I just had to have in my my repertoire of meeting people.
I can understand that.
And like
I know you're a big Wes Craven fan, so that his two biggest leading ladies.
Seriously,
that makes a lot of sense.
I have not met Nev yet, and I've been dying to. And
you've got to. Oh my God.
Things keep wrecking it, and it's like, well, for her age and as someone that doesn't get along with Days of the Dead, and so she'll never be at a day show unless she changes reps. And she was originally scheduled to be appearing at 90s Con in March with the rest of the Scream people. And it was in Connecticut, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to 90s Con in March. It's not really my favorite convention because it's a convention center convention, and I prefer hotel conventions. Right. So I went for my first time in Daytona Beach a couple of months ago, and I'm like, this was fun. Don't know if I'm going to do it again. They announced her. I said, well, I guess I'm doing it again. And and I'm like, I don't have anything happening in March. Great, I can do it. Then Bill puts a show in March, just like he knew I was going to cheat on him.
Damn it!
same weekend. Same weekend. Of all the weekends in March, I'm like, thwarted again. It's like he knew, but my loyalty lies with Days, so I will not be attending 90s Con in March.
And she'll be doing cons for a while, I think. She's not any close to being done yet, so it won't be a thing of, I missed her. No, you'll definitely get a chance to meet her. So
yeah, I don't think her doing another Scream movie is going to stop her from doing any other cons.
No.
I hope so.
This will be definitely out there. So, but she is a sweetheart, though. I met her twice, and both times first time I met her, the first time I laid eyes on her within like a 3-foot span, I almost passed out, first of all. And it's a surreal moment of going, this is the person that you've seen in your favorite film. She's a huge movie star. Like, I'm afraid I'm going to say something stupid. And she was just like, it's okay. The first thing she said, it's okay. And I'm like, ooh, thank you.
I might cry.
I was like, seriously, I was like, this is the best time we talked. And seriously, you will. I mean, he goes, oh my God. But then I was like, we want to do a picture. And I was like, okay, so, when you meet, my very first picture with any celebrity ever. So like that. And I was like, so what do I do? Like, do I just stand next to her and put my hands down and go, and she just put her arm around me. I was like, oh my God, like this is, so I was like, that was done. I was like, I'm done. I can die now. I'm good. But,
it's different for you also as a man. You're like, do I touch her? Do I not?
Exactly.
How comfortable is she with that? Right.
But like, she was just so cool. I think celebrities, especially celebrities who do cons, you can kind of tell those people they're going to be a little trouble or they're not totally like cool with stuff, and like you kind of work that into the meeting, and I think they have an intuition. And if you're new to cons, if you're being a celebrity, I think you kind of have to work your way into that. You're going to get burned by a few people, but once you've done it a few times, I think you can kind of figure yourself out and go, okay, this person seems a little jittery or a little weird, or, I'll just play it like this, I'll play it like that. And I think once you get used to that, I think she's done it a million times. So, I think she just knew I was like, this guy's not going to murder me or try to stab me in the back,
right?
Grab my hair, so
she knew you were genuine and not in a creepy way. So you weren't like a fanboy, you were a genuine fan. There's a difference.
Yes, that is exactly true. That is so true. So, but I really hope you get to meet her because she is a great person. I hope you do. And Sabi, you never met her before, have you?
I haven't met too many. Yeah. When I go to cons with the celebs, I kind of just I like kind of just walking around and seeing them do their thing more so than stop and if I run into one in a crowd, or I ran into a few at the after party at
like
Frightmare. I'm bad with some of the names, but
okay.
there was a few actors from Friday the 13th Part 3. Nice. You had, I believe, and I can never remember his name, but I know him so well because he gave Jason his hockey mask. So,
Larry.
Yes, Larry. Yes,
Larry's a sweetheart.
He was there for a bit. I didn't get to talk to any. They were kind of in their own little group.
Yeah.
But they were beside me, and there was a couple people from their table because I was in my Eric Draven Crow costume at the party, where they came up to me and they just expressed how much they loved my costume.
That is
and
so cool.
I was like, that's great.
Hell yeah!
But and then there was Andy from Child's Play. He was there too, and I kind of just I said, "What's up? How's it going?" And he's like, "Hey, what's up?" And I was like, "That's cool." To me, everyday regular interactions are kind of where I get my thing from it.
I agree.
The only one I've ever paid to meet was Alice Cooper, and it is because I had.
Show us. Don't stand up. You have pants on.
Oh, I got my pants.
That's hot.
But so
show that ass, boy.
So in woodshop in high school, and this was at Fan Expo years back. In woodshop in high school, we had a teacher that just he was asleep the whole time. We didn't do anything for school ever. And so me and my buddy Kyle decided to make paddles as we were big fans of Dazed and Confused. And so, everyone knows the initiation process in that movie. Not that we actually did that in our generation in school, but we just wanted to kind of make them for fun because we didn't make anything else. It's literally the only thing I have from woodshop class. So
the best thing.
I brought this, and I got Alice Cooper to autograph it. No more Mr. Nice Guy, amazing. Alice Cooper.
Oh, and his boobs standing too. Love that.
Yep. And he was blown away because he's like, I've never had anyone get me to sign one of these before. I'll never get rid of it, obviously.
That's rad.
But
That's
rad. He was. That is awesome. He was really nice, and I got a photo kind of just with him in a little bit really quick. But this is the one time I've ever paid for that kind of autograph, and I was like, because I have an idea of what I want him to sign. If Tony Todd was at Frightmare, I probably would have brought my Candyman poster. And I missed the last Niagara Con with James O'Barr. I would have got him to sign my Crow poster or even my graphic novel. But there's not a ton of things that it's funny enough because I've got my Child's Play, I've got my Chucky back there. You can help see the box, the Trick or Treat Studios one, and I was like, do I bring this and get him to sign it? But then I'm such a weirdo. I like it looking like it looked in the movie.
True. No, I got you, man.
It's even when they were selling them there, it's funny because my girlfriend Natasha was she was like, oh, that's the same one you have. It looks a little different. I was like, yeah, because I opened it up just to take the plastic collar around it off his neck and take the hairnet off. I wanted it to look like it looked in the toy store in the movie. And that's kind of my deal. I don't collect a lot of little things. It's mostly life size, kind of authentic looking stuff. That's my deal. I have nothing against, people having shelves of toys and glass and shelves of masks. And it's super cool. I just for limited space, I like to have the life size kind of props and replicas and whatnot.
Yeah, I am obsessed.
You gotta make sure when they get a mansion.
I am obsessed with dolls. Obviously, dolls of horror.
Yeah,
obviously.
So I do have that first Chucky that Trick or Treat released in 2000.
Oh, nice. Oh, it's great.
18.
That thing's
the
beautiful.
first one they did.
Yeah.
And I paid for the Kickstarter, so it came with a box and the toys and everything.
Oh,
and
yes.
I have
that is so badass.
Yes.
But I bought two. I bought one for me because I'm taking them out of the box. and he's mine.
Yeah.
And then I bought one to put away for forever.
There you go.
So perfect.
He's in my
That's collector right
storage
there.
unit.
You are true.
I like the doll stuff too. I've got Billy from Dead Silence. I've got the clown behind me here as well. I've got Annabelle behind me there.
I see a Sam.
So like, yeah, see Sam. Sam is actually interesting enough. It was actually just a hanging prop from Spirit Halloween, and I kind of have him sitting on my subwoofer just at the perfect level height of like a small kid, and I stuffed pillows in him. And he's got his arm around Annabelle. Like, that's I like things out of the box too, you know. Like it's just the Chucky that I left in the box. Everything else is kind of out. I've got my gremlins around the room.
I'm not selling, so it's mine.
Exactly.
Except I might sell that one that's in my storage unit. That's why I left him pristine. I looked at, I opened up the initial shipping box to make sure everything was there, and then I boxed it back up and put it in storage.
It's also cool just to have it in the box, even for just display. If you don't want to sell it, like it's because the Child's Play box is a good guy box. It doesn't say Child's Play on the box, and that's why I kept him in there too. I see the ones at Spirit stuff, you know, there's like Chucky on the box, and I'm like, yeah, it's cool, but like, you know, I want the box.
But I'm obsessed with Puppet Master, so I've
nice.
slowly over the years, because now that I'm a grown up, because I've always wanted the Puppet Master replicas. They used to have them. They used to have them when the Puppet Masters first came out. They made them for Full Moon, made them on their website. And they would advertise them at the end of their VHS, right? And I wanted them so badly, but I was 8 and didn't have any money. So now that I am 40 and I have grown-up money,
for a long time.
I slowly but surely have been collecting the 1-to-1 scale replicas from Puppet Master, and I have them all. I think I have all the originals. I got 6-shooter. I've got Cyclops from Retro Puppet Master. Nice. And so I got all the originals, and then I have a couple of the other sequel replicas, and they are beautiful.
That's awesome. Nice. Those are such fun movies.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I love those. They're so cheesy, but they're so good. Oh my God.
Yeah. So the first one especially is just like, that's always like kind of like the one that that's my go-to one. But that's me most of the time.
I'm a fan of the first 5. After that,
I love all of them, honestly.
But yeah,
the first 5 are pretty sweet.
I love the first 5, and I proved my fandom
when for sure.
When the Full Moon booth was at Flashback Weekend one year, and I had bought a 6-shooter from Charles Band himself, and he signed it, and I'm like,
nice.
I'm literally there's a picture of me doing this while he's signing. I'm like, he's such a nerd. I'm like,
oh, that's cool though. You know,
and I was so excited. I was geeking out so hard.
Yeah.
And then the next year, I was talking to the people who made the booth. And I was showing them my Puppet Master replicas I've collected over the years, and they actually make them. Like, they physically make the dolls at the time. They made the dolls for the booth. Like, they made these. They're the artists that did it. And I was like, oh, and here's my leech woman, or as I like to call her, Elsa. And so I proved my fandom by calling her by her proper name and not leech woman. And they're like, I'm impressed. Like, okay. And nice. The gentleman just happened to be the one that made this exact doll before they switched manufacturers.
Yeah.
So he's like, that looks like one of mine. I said, really?
You're like, hell yeah.
That's
so
great.
Excited,
Direct from the source like that too.
Seriously.
It was like meeting a celebrity, the person who made my treasure.
You know. Definitely. Like, you know, and I'm on a totally different scale. I collect masks. That's pretty much all I collect. You know, there's things here and there, but like, and I just told Savvy today, I picked up one of the ones I would never, ever, ever dream I'd ever have.
Yeah, you surprised me with that one.
Seriously, it's a Don Post with Trick or Treat. I guess Trick or Treat bought the molds for most of the stuff that he did, but
that's why they're so good.
At all. Yes, but it's a Michael Myers, William Shatner mask.
Wow.
Yeah. So it is incredible, and I am just like blown away how good it looks. Like up close, it looks great up close. It looks good far away. The hair, it's just amazing. So I am just in love with that thing. Again, Savvy, if you want one, I'll grab one for you.
Amazing.
Thanks, brother.
I don't have so many masks as much, but I got an amazing Friday the 13th Part 8 mask, and then I have an amazing Friday the 13th Part 4. The mask isn't so amazing, but it came with a bust
Oh,
from
no, those are
an
cool.
official bust from, the certificate of authenticity from New Line.
That
Or
is so
whatever the
cool.
studio was, I can't
Yeah.
remember. And
Yeah.
if you take him off, and it's all it's Tom
Yeah,
Savini's
no,
a
those are
gnarled
cool.
face guy,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Oh, it's better
Was-
than
was it-
displaying
was-
it on like, a wig stand. That's for sure.
Yes.
That's what I have.
His mask
When
off,
I'm gonna
it's
make my own
real
bust,
under
like
there.
I'll have the
It's amazing.
costumes like wrapped around the bottom of the wig stand kind of deal just to
Yeah.
get it some build. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
where it is. The busts are awesome.
Yeah, it was
Yes,
pretty
they are.
awesome. I scored it on eBay for dirt cheap, like for what it was. Like I don't
Oh,
think this
still,
person
yeah.
knew what they had. It was up for auction for $120.
That is a
That's what it
steal.
was at. And so
Yeah.
I set my is auctioning off for 5 more days, and so I set my alarm to go off like the minute before.
Yep.
And it hadn't gone up at all.
Wow.
So just to make sure I got it, I bid 200, but
Yeah.
I got
Yeah,
it,
but you
scored it
got
for
it
like
for a steal, yeah.
145 or something.
Even if you
That's
paid
so
200,
cool.
it still would have been a steal.
Yeah, I would have paid
yeah.
3,
Yeah.
honestly. I would have paid
Yeah.
for that because it's beautiful. But I
That's
scored
awesome.
it for like 145.
Oh, I see those things here now, and anything like that is like you're looking at $700-800, like
Mhm.
easy.
Yep.
Yeah, this
Well,
person
especially up north,
clearly
if
did
it's
not
not under
know
1,000.
what they had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I was looking at some of the busts at the con, and they were all over 1,000.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's true. At the con. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially but in Canada though, I mean, good lord, you can't find shit up there.
Oh
So it's
man,
like,
we
you find that, you're
we
gonna
get
pay.
screwed for horror stuff. Everything costs me
Ugh.
like double. Movies, props, whatever it is. It's all it's past the exchange rate. It's just like extra.
It's ridiculous.
Sucks,
Absolutely
dude.
Yeah.
ridiculous. I know. But
It's what it
it
is,
you know.
unfortunately. Maybe
That's
one day I'll get my
why-
ass across the border.
I mean, that's why you got to move down here. Just come
Yeah,
on, man.
if I
Just,
can, I will.
just come on. If I call him, he will come. So there you go. Savvy, I'm calling you. Come on.
Yep.
Okay,
But,
Savvy, I have a bone to pick with you.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Let's
Here
go.
we go.
Not a real bone. You just need some. You just need some education. All right.
Okay, let's go.
I was, since I was talking to Wes about being on this show, I went back to episode 1 of his new show at the time.
Yep.
What was it? Don't Kill Me, Mr. Ghostface is what you called it,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And for the last week, I've just been binging and powering through, right? Well, this morning to get one more episode in before we spoke, right? And I'm almost there. I think I have 4 left, but I didn't quite make it, but I'm
Yeah.
almost there. You talked about pizza, and this was back in April, and cheese and Chicago pizza, and you liking Giordano's. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Savvy, you got to come to Chicago for a convention. You need to come to either Days of the Dead or Flashback. Flashbacks.
Days of the Dead. But Days of the Dead, we got to come see you. Come on.
No, the problem is I'm working and I don't have time to hang out then.
Well, at least we can watch you do your thing. I want to watch you do your thing live. That's what I want to do.
So, but when you come,
Yeah.
you come a day early or stay a day late, and let me know, and I'll take off work, and I'm going to take you for some real pizza. I'm
Oh,
going
that
to take
sounds
you to the
great.
place that invented pizza, deep dish pizza.
Hell yeah.
That sounds great.
I used to work there a long time ago, and they still make everything in-house. The sauce is made in-house. The dough is made in-house. Everything is fresh. Everything is fresh. And then I work at another pizzeria, which is pretty close, but not quite as good as Due. I take everyone to Uno or Due. I work at a place called Paisanos. We have 4 locations. So it's a franchise, but it's a small franchise, right?
Yeah.
So we don't have a corporate. And so things don't come in from nowhere. They're also making their sauce in house. I may have stolen the sauce recipe over time. In there, that big old bucket.
Well, I was gonna leave this in, but now I've cut that part out.
Got to cut it out, man. So yeah, I take you for some good pizza. If you're not
I
a
trust you.
vegetarian, I'll take you for a beef sandwich.
Yeah,
the
I
best-
trust you. I'm not a vegetarian or a vegan, that's for sure.
The best thing you're ever going to eat is the Italian beef sandwich from Al's. You're going to have a
nice.
foodgasm. It's going to be amazing. And so
That
you
sounds
boys, if you come, you got to plan at least an extra day, maybe 2, and I'll take off work, and then we're going on a food
Oh, if
tour.
I'm taking a trip like that, I'm not leaving in like a day, that's for sure.
Oh no, you guys,
Yeah.
you guys stay with me, and we're gonna tell Natasha and
Yeah.
Jennifer to get lost, and he and I are gonna spend some quality time together.
Right.
Ain't that right, buddy?
Well, I
Ain't
can
that
hang with
right, buddy?
Natasha and Jennifer.
Oh,
I'll
no,
take the
do a
wives.
girls thing.
I'll take
Do
the
girls thing
wives, and you
yeah.
guys do that,
Yeah.
and then we'll meet for meals.
Okay, that sounds great. That sounds fantastic.
Yes, so I'm going to take you for some real authentic quality
I trust
Chicago
you.
food.
I trust you. I'm happy that you don't have to have our pizza here because, like I said, comparison, like there's only one other deep dish pizza place that I know of, and it's like their garlic bread pizza is better than their pizza. Like there's nothing. There's nothing. There is nothing.
And I'm not completely loyal to deep dish. I love it. This is why I'm fat.
Yeah.
I love it so
much. I love everything. I love cheese and pizza altogether. I just like when I see like when I first experienced that like cheese pull and it was like a slice of cake, I was like I was lost. It was like a trip.
Well, see, it's still going to be a slice of cake. It's just going to be a fresh piece of cake instead of a frozen one.
Even better. And then these days I'm a lot less about processed foods than I was when I had it. So I'm probably down for that.
And Wes, I heard in that episode that you don't do crust and carbs that much. Deep dish is great because you can just eat out the filling.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
You don't even
pizza
need the
bowls
crust.
where I
Just
go.
eat it.
I mean, I do every so often.
You gotta
It's just not
indulge.
something I don't.
It's
I
the
don't,
right time.
Because if I eat too much of it, I'm going to get sick because I'm not eating as much now, so I definitely will get sick. But I can.
I'm the same way, bro. I'm the same way.
That's a misconception about deep dish. People think that it's pan pizza and that it's mostly dough. No, it's not. It's mostly cheese and toppings, and it's amazing.
Right.
When you order deep dish pizza here, it's a pan pizza almost every time. Yeah,
that's
and I'm like, I get it, and I'm like, fuck, this is not what it said it was.
Now let me ask you,
damn it.
when they advertise your pizza as deep dish, I'm very passionate about pizza.
Mm-hmm.
When they advertise your pizza as deep dish, is the sauce on the bottom or the top?
Yep.
What would
It's
it
on
be?
the bottom,
right?
It's on the bottom.
It's on the
still?
bottom for you, right?
It's on the top for
when I end up getting it, it's supposed to be on the top, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes. So when I get it, it's not, and it's just literally a thick crust pizza, and I'm like,
Such a lie. That's an earmark. Even places out here will say deep dish, and they put the sauce in the bottom, and I'm like, you're a liar.
I know. Exactly.
You're a liar. The sauce has to be on top. You're a liar. I'm very, very passionate about my pizza. Okay, can you tell?
I feel that.
Serious
I feel
business.
that. I like this. This isn't a bones thing. This is a tip.
I have been serving pizza for a lot of years and eating it for even more. So, and I'm from California, and we don't have good pizza there.
No,
Great tacos, but not good pizza.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Well, so my very first job I ever had was in a pizzeria. So
nice.
Yeah, I know how to sling the pizza. I know how to throw it in the air. I know how to do all that stuff. We use.
I used to work in a movie theater, so I know how to make the movie theater style popcorn. But aside from that, no, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, I worked in a movie theater too. Same thing. So yeah, I'm with you on that.
You got the flavacol trick then.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh yeah. Just yeah.
So
That's
good.
horrible, but it's good.
Oh, it's terrible, but it's so good though.
I know, right?
But the people that owned the pizzeria I worked for were from New York, and they knew their shit. They knew their shit so well.
Yeah.
And,
No, New York, Chicago, that's, what I hear of what I know is where you want to go for authentic pizzas.
Yeah, see, I love New York
Aside from
pizza,
Italy.
and I love Chicago deep dish. I'm not a fan of Chicago thin crust. People love it. It's not really my thing.
Yeah.
It's not why I would go. I mean, I would try it just because I'm there and I can try it at an authentic place.
It has its own uniqueness, but it's not my personal preference. But I really love a good brick oven pizza as well. If I'm doing a thin crust, I want it to be a brick oven style, maybe a nice margarita pizza, simple pie, where you really taste that dough and cheese.
Yep.
It's thin and it's just scrumptious. But
that's what we use. So I know all about that. That's because we talked about it. We talked about different ways of cooking, and he's like, "This is the only way to do it if you want to get that good, that good cook." So I was like, "Yeah." So.
There's an Italian place about just 2 blocks away from the Days of the Dead Hotel in Atlanta, and I eat like every meal there because it's affordable, it's close, and it's amazing. And it's pizza, and it's brick oven, and it's so good.
Yep,
that sounds good.
Yep.
Okay, we've had the pizza talk. Now I gotta get,
sorry.
It's all right. It's all right.
Sorry, I had to get this off my chest.
It's all good.
I understand. And people love talking about pizza, so it's all good.
Yeah.
But I do.
Horror movies and pizza, they go together. How many times do you rent a movie, go home and order a pizza from Domino's or whatever?
That's very true. And then in the movie, was it? Oh my gosh, I can't think of the damn movie now.
What, Slumber Party Massacre?
Yes, when they order the pizza and they eat on
I
top
knew you
of
were going to
the
say
dip,
that. Yep.
I mean, that's just,
we talked about this in the show before.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we went one extreme. We're talking about your most favorite or your best interview. What is your worst person or interview that you've ever done? You gotta be honest.
Can we air this?
You gotta be honest.
Because we gotta air
be honest.
I don't
You
want
gotta,
to
yeah,
say.
arable. Come on. And it's okay. Some people just have a bad day, and it's it is what it is. But we gotta know what it is.
Okay, let's give you some more leeway on this. Let's make it not necessarily them, but maybe like you had an off day or fumbled or something like that. So if you don't want to direct it towards them.
The problem is that I'm not going to name names, but there are some people who are awkward and uncomfortable up there, and it very shows. And they're not bad people; they're nice people. Like there are a couple of bad people, like I said, which we'll talk about later. But these people,
they're
I'm
socially
talking
awkward.
About, right? They have trouble answering a question with more than a yes or a no, which makes it very hard to fill an hour.
True. Yeah.
I'm aware of that from journalism school. You need to ask those open-ended questions and have them answered nice.
Right.
And me, like doing this podcast, he's like, God, I wish Wes would just talk more. I mean, come on.
I know, same, right? It's like, shut up, Summer. Please shut up. So, so those ones are challenging. It has nothing to do with the individual. It's just their personality. They're not at ease up there, and so I try my best to make them at ease. And sometimes I can pull them out a little bit more, and then sometimes I can't. And this is just what it's going to be. Right. That I just interviewed. What's his name? Robert Jackson Scott. 3 first names. I don't remember the order. The little kid from the new It, Georgie from It.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
He's 16 years old. He's a child.
Yeah.
Right. And first time I met him, and he was up there, and he was visibly nervous. Like he was. I edited that video, and his legs shaking. You know how you do that leg shake nervous thing, and his hands were doing this a lot, and he was looking down a lot, and so he was kind young man, but he's 16. And he's also the only one up there. He's not with his castmates. But I managed to pull him in about 15 minutes in of an hour. 15 minutes in, he started to visibly chill and relax. And he stopped shaking and he stopped fidgeting. And then he looked at me, and we started having conversations about roller coasters and milk. And
there you go.
I'm like, so we're gonna talk. And so when he said something, and I just thought that I could like steer this into a fun conversation, like you talked about being afraid of roller coasters. And I said, have you seen Final Destination 3? And so and so
he's like, oh my God.
and he hasn't, because he's 16 and he hasn't had as much life to see Avengers movies as we have.
More
especially younger kids these days. A lot of them don't watch a lot of movies. It's kind of wild.
Right. Yeah. No. So that was it was a very rewarding experience to see how it started and to see how it ended. And at the end, he gave me the best compliment ever. Was when he stood up to take our photo, and I think I left this part in the video. He's like, "That was unlike any interview I've ever done."
That's cool. That's what an interview wants to hear.
Yeah, it was sweet. But it's like, how can I get this guy to feel like comfortable? Because it's a little awkward if you're not used to it. Especially he's not with the rest of his castmates. He's the only one. There.
Right. I'm sure it'd be easier with more people up there too. It's because they can kind of take the quiet moments.
He's a brave kid for going there alone.
Yeah,
because it's like any event where like you have to kind of go alone, even as an adult, can be difficult when you don't know anyone else there, and you push yourself to go there. That's an achievement.
Yeah,
true.
And he only has like 3 scenes in both movies total, I think. So he's not a major player either. So he might be thinking, I don't know, I haven't spoken to him about this. He might be thinking, what do I talk about?
Yeah, true.
What do I say?
I can understand that.
Also, he was young. He was young in that movie. And do you remember much from when you were 6 or 7? I don't.
Not a lot.
Right?
I don't remember much anything.
I remember a lot, actually. I have a weird memory, but either way, what would I say to a crowd of adults about when I was 6 or 7? I have no idea.
Right.
Remember or don't remember it. It's tough.
Yeah, so that was fun. That situation happens sometimes, and then I just try to just treat it like a conversation. You know who I didn't realize this until last year. I took a lot of my interview style and inspiration from Rosie O'Donnell.
Really?
When she had her show.
I remember that
her first show.
Yeah.
In the 90s,
first show.
not when she came back.
When she was hitting the koosh ball with everybody, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so her first
I
show
used
in
to
the
watch
90s.
that.
First of all, she's responsible for me being able to see like snippets from Broadway shows because she's a Broadway nerd, and so she would have them come perform on the show. So I wouldn't have ever gotten to see these performances if it wasn't for her.
That's pretty rad.
So,
that is cool.
but she treated the conversation like an interview, like a conversation too. And she worked hard to make people feel at ease also. And there were also people who were visibly nervous, and she would just talk to them, just talk to them like they're at lunch. And that's what I do. And I loved that show growing up. And then she's putting her team is putting them all online now, all on YouTube. They're all up there.
Oh, really?
So I went back and I watched a few, and I'm like, that's what I do. So I think I inadvertently took inspiration from her style on how she
there's
did
nothing
it.
wrong with that. That's a good thing.
Yeah, well, she was very good at it and very successful at it and hilarious, and that's why people loved her and were personable. It was good. So that's I took a lot of my interview inspiration without knowing it until later from Rosie O'Donnell. So I'm grateful to her too. Honestly.
Yes.
I watched all the interview talk shows. I watched late night ones. I watched her. I watched Oprah. I watched all of them. But they never had her style.
I didn't really watch anything except for I think hers when I was younger. I think she was the only one that I was entertained by when I was a kid.
Yeah, she was kind of crazy. So yeah,
I'd watch Leno.
Oh, she was fun.
She was fun. She was crazy fun. She was not just in the seat talking. So yeah, she did fun stuff and everything. So yeah, not crazy.
Yeah. And like her guests, and even like the guests that she had on were like, you know, like, I was like, oh, I know who all these people are. Most like, you know, it wasn't like a lot of them like I as a kid, I had no idea who they were talking to. You know,
true.
Yeah.
That's so cool though.
So yeah, I learned by watching her, honestly, and but God, toughest interviews. That's a tough question because most of them are great.
Yeah,
so it's a hard one to narrow down without telling you who the real assholes are.
I'm that guy that asks those tough questions because I want to know those tough answers. So you know.
No, the toughest one is when they're on the shyer side.
True.
And
so you're trying to pull things out of them. So that definitely is hard. So
the kid from Child's Play, Alex Vincent, he's on the shyer side. So I
could see that.
He was a challenging one. It's also a big challenge when a person has only done one thing.
True.
And then
I think that's what they're known for.
Movie.
Well, not even that. Maybe they only did one thing on screen at all ever. And then they went and became an attorney or an accountant or something like that.
True.
And so
which happens with a lot of the child actors.
Right.
You know?
Or even adult actors are like, I'm tired.
Some of the adults, for sure.
So when I get someone that's done a lot of theater because I'm a Broadway nerd, then I delve into their theater credits and we talk about that. Like most of the Friday the 13th original, most of the they're dancers and theater people too. So I have a lot to talk about with them.
Well, see, that's why you're so successful is that you know how to, you know your background, you know how to get things out of people, and you know, okay, if I'm going to get this interview good, I've got to make sure I know my shit, and knowing my shit means knowing their shit.
Have to have enough to fill an hour just in case the audience doesn't have any questions. So I have to have enough material for an hour just in case. I normally don't have to use it all, but just in case.
And it sounds like you do it right. You do your research, you get to know a lot about it before you ask about it, and that's a good thing.
Yep. And I consider the source. If it's even a questionable, I'll be like, I read on the internet.
Yeah. You don't want to ask them about a rumor.
Like with David Howard Thornton. I read on the internet that you were a mime. He's like, that's not true. I said, that's what I wanted to know because internet, right?
Yeah, of course.
Have you watched this stuff on YouTube before?
I'm sorry?
Have you watched David Howard Thornton's stuff on YouTube that he put up on his YouTube channel? Have you seen that yet? Oh my God.
Maybe.
Go today. It's insane. He does all sorts of he'll do readings. He did a couple of Joker. Oh my God. It's amazing.
I've seen some clips of the Joker stuff.
Yeah, I've seen some of that, I think, floating around on Instagram or Facebook or something.
I think he posted it on Instagram somewhat recently, actually.
He's such
yeah,
a
but
talented
there is
individual.
so much stuff though. Like there's like I saw the Joker stuff, but sometimes you watch certain things on YouTube, it'll pop up other things that deal with the same subject. And I'm just seeing videos that have been popping up from his YouTube channel. I was like, oh, I didn't know that was his channel. So I went on, and he has a ton of stuff he's been doing over the years, and it's so great. It's awesome. He's a great dude. So
yeah, he's incredibly talented. Also a theater guy, so that's why he's so goddamn good at it.
I'm telling you, without saying a word in those movies, in the Terrifier movies, he conveys so much more than most actors could ever dream of, in my opinion. So,
yeah, he's brilliant. He is brilliant. Ooh, fun fact. Who was a trained mime?
Who? I have no clue.
Female Cenobite from Hellraiser 2, Barbie Wilde. She is a mime. She went to France and trained under dude. Who's the famous mime guy that trained everyone? I don't know.
There was a show about that, I think, actually.
She is a legit trained mime.
Wow. That is so cool. I
that
love those
is
movies,
a fact
I know her.
From her. That is a fact.
Well, she's one of the most memorable Cenobites, that's for sure.
Seriously.
So beautiful.
I've never wanted to be, invaded by a demon more than with her. So. maybe Linnea Quigley from Return of the Living Dead, but that was.
Yeah, not
she was more of like a. She was more of a. She was more of a zombie, but she looked very demonish. So
yeah.
Well, maybe her too. Yeah. Well, that too. Yeah, both.
Yeah,
See, she's just good anyway. So.
Well,
Cool. Well,
so great.
I could ask you a billion more questions, but we've been going for an hour now, and I'm like, all right, I know we're kind of getting to the end of this, but
I wanted to go for forever. I'm having so much fun. I'm having amazing.
That's the hard
guys.
part about this show is that
Seriously.
we just get into conversation, and silence is not something that we have an issue with.
No, we just want to talk, and I'm like, we've already in an hour. I'm like, we can't put it too long because
we talk after.
Yeah,
but that's the
so
beautiful
it's like
thing about a podcast is that there's a stop button, and they can listen to the first 45 minutes on their commute to work, and then they go to work, and then they pick it up when they're going home.
I agree with that.
That's the great thing about a podcast.
Point.
You know,
but I've also seen where it's even I get into it where if I see a podcast that's like 2 hours long and I'm like, do I really want to get invested in that? Okay,
I think it all depends on how much you listen to podcasts. The avid podcast listeners, they're listening for like 4 hours, on different days, different times of day. They'll listen to however long it is. With you listen to a good amount of podcasts. I am known guilty of actually not listening to really any podcasts. I'm more of just like, I like the idea of it, but like, I'm such a music fan that like I'm always like looking for new music.
Do you guys remember the very first podcast you ever listened to? Because I do.
I do, but I don't want to divulge what it was because it's very embarrassing. So.
Okay.
Now I want to know.
You go first, Summer. You go first.
Okay, so the very first podcast I ever listened to was one called Suck the Joy. And it was
X-rated?
No. It was run. It wasn't horror. It was run. This is 15 years ago, maybe. It was hosted by Kathleen Wilhoit, huge fan. Oh, I want to meet her so badly. She's one of my heroes. Seriously. So Kathleen Wilhoit and her friend Corey Bonnell, who's not famous. And she's an actor, she's a musician, and one of her songs is called Suck the Joy, so that's just what they called the show. If you saw Witchboard, she played Sarah Beth in Witchboard.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Right?
Gotcha.
But she's a mainstream actor. She doesn't just do horror. She was in ER for a gazillion years, and she's just done everything. She's a blue-collar character actor. You know her when you see her. She has that beautiful, raspy voice. And amazing musician, amazing singer, so talented, hilarious. So that was my first podcast ever. And I listened to it when it was only a few episodes in, and I was hooked. And then I moved on I went from that, and I listened to the Christopher Titus podcast because I love me some Titus. He's my fave. He's one of my favorite comedians ever. And so his podcast had about 50 episodes at the time. So I just went back and again from episode 1 and I just listened to them all. And I have an hour commute each way to and from work. So that kills 2 hours right there.
Gives you some time.
And then I got to do dishes. I got to do laundry. You just got to do stuff. So I listened to while I'm doing things. But those are my first 2 podcasts ever.
Those are
And
really good.
what got me hooked on listening to podcasts. And and then I would listen to some other ones, and then I discovered yours, Wes, and that the rest is history. What about you, Savvy? I want to know.
Yeah. I'm a very visual guy when it comes to like, if I'm listening, it's always music. If I can watch a podcast, which is a big part of why this show has the video aspects. When I was talking to Wes originally, I was like, listen, like we got to hit all the markets, because for me, there's almost like if I'm just listening, there's not as much of a chance at all if I'm going to check out this podcast. I like to see expression. It's like back when I used to listen to stand-up comedy and like not see the video. Like, oh my God, it's so much better when I can see the video versus just listening to an album. I think I probably just started with something basic. It was probably something like the Joe Rogan Experience or something like that, because there was clips everywhere. But the first time I sat down and listened to a full episode of anything was for Wes's podcast, because we've been talking about doing one. Well, yeah, we've been talking about doing one together. You might not remember this, but for years, ever since your last one ended, and you went through a couple possible co-hosts before we came around to me, and I don't think you ever even got to record anything with them. But I wanted to check it out because I was like, well, this is the type of podcast I'd be interested in doing. And it's just like, I'm one of those people where like, I don't like to watch people do things. And it's funny because I love movies. But aside from that, I don't like to watch people do things as much as I like to get involved in doing it myself. It's another reason I'm not a big sports guy of like any sport whatsoever. Like if you want to like, play something or whatever for fun, like I'm totally down. But like, do I watch? No, I don't. I can't. It's just not part of who I am. And I have no problem with obviously podcasts or anyone doing them or sports or anything like that. I'm just very much like, I like to get involved with what if I can, I like the interaction. And so, like I said, I watched a couple because I think I watched probably some clips of some other comedians' podcasts, but I don't even remember. But yeah, like the Joe Rogan one's just floating everywhere. Every social media format had clips everywhere all the time. And I used to watch his stand-up comedy. And I used to watch him on, I can never remember if it's called News Radio or Talk Radio. But it was Talk Radio, I think. Talk Radio, right? Was the show?
News Radio was the show with Dave Foley.
That's it, Dave. Yes. It was News Radio.
Okay.
He was on that. He was
the maintenance guy.
He was the maintenance guy. I watched the whole show, and I used to watch reruns all the time. And so when that's how I knew who Joe Rogan was before Fear Factor or anything like that. And so I watched his comedy.
Forgot about Fear Factor.
Yeah, I know, right?
I love that show. Oh my God, I love that show so much.
But yeah, no, that was probably my first experience. And then again, I would watch that and I'd be like, hey, some of it's funny and it's interesting, but then some of his episodes were like 4 hours long, and I'm like, just like what I say, I was turned off by it, because I'm like, I don't have, like, if I could understand if you have like that long commute and you're looking for something to do and things like that. I never really had that issue in a sense. It's not an issue, maybe an issue or not an issue.
Right.
So I'm always just like, I'm such a music guy too. I'm always looking for new music. That's one thing that I'll never, ever change. Every Friday with new releases, I'm like, what's out there?
That's awesome.
So yeah, a lot of my listening time goes to music, and then whatever time I can find aside from that in my free time, other than, working on stuff like this, I'm watching movies. So when I was for a few years now working 6 days a week on a busier schedule, and now it's like,
but he said, fuck that shit.
Yeah, well, that was a toxic environment.
I am working 3 jobs, and I work most of the time. I can work 7 days a week, and
God damn,
and I work about 70 hours a week. I am so
you need
tired.
to take a break.
I know.
That's serious.
I'm exhausted, and so
I bet.
And so I get it. Like, I'm woefully behind on my movies. Everyone's like, have you seen Smile 2? No. Have you seen this? No. I honestly haven't seen anything new for the last year. I think the last new movie I saw was Scream, when I saw that in the theater, so no one could fuck it up for me and spoil it.
Yeah.
So I went to go see that in the show, but I haven't seen anything new since then. No. And what I'm watching is research for the conventions. Like I interviewed the Revenge of the Nerds people, right? And I had never seen Revenge of the Nerds.
My buddy was obsessed with those. I've seen the first I think 3 or 4.
There were 4 of them. Yeah, no. So I mean, I was aware of them. I knew they existed. I'd watched part of the first one when I was a kid. way too young to have been watching it, and also didn't keep my interest.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I guess I got to hurry up and watch these movies. So I binge watched all the movies real quick. And so like a lot of my watch time is going towards research for convention interviews I have coming up. Or when I do a podcast weekly show, I've been taking a break since March of the weekly episodes because I got so busy. That's when I started the third job, and I was so tired, and I couldn't keep up with recording it and editing it all, right? And of course, when you edit yourself, you're like fine-tooth comb,
for sure.
that shit. Right?
Well, if you're working that much editing yourself,
yeah. So,
that's me to a fucking
even on Wes's schedule, like I give him credit every week. I'm just like, dude,
along with the
thank you
departure
for
of
doing
Jamie,
that.
I also lost the editor because they went together, which was fine.
True.
But it was like, well, I don't have so. Okay, so the format I chose to do after that whole issue was I am never having another permanent co-host ever again. Ever.
Yeah, I understand.
It soured me on that so bad.
I understand because I don't get rid of Savvy and say screw it. No, but I do though.
But there were a lot
where I was at, to going to my solo show,
There were a lot of issues weekly with the same person, that were just the same fucking issues. And nothing was getting resolved because nothing was changing. So I was like, I'm never doing this again, ever.
Yeah.
And
you were burned pretty bad, so.
Yeah, and also I had it wasn't the same situation, but it was the same thing with the original co-host Tori. She got busy with life. She has children, so she has a busy life. I work a lot. I have no kids. She works regular and has kids. And she got a boyfriend at the time, and priorities changed.
Relationship, kids, and work is
right. And she didn't want to do the show anymore, and she was still doing it. I think she didn't want to tell me, but it was clear that it wasn't fun for her anymore.
Right.
And
it's not fun. There's a reason to do it.
And so we talked about it, and she decided to step away, and for what was best for her, and we're still good friends, right? But then it's like, okay, so what do I do now? So now, after those two situations. I'm like, I'm never picking up another permanent co-host ever again. I'm going to have a different guest co-host every week. It'll keep it fresh. It'll keep it new. I don't have to worry about dealing with the same person's schedule every week. True. And it's more flexible, and it's also more interesting because now you can just, keep fresh blood in all the time. It's good.
I totally understand it because when I went to my single host format, and it was fun. I did a lot of cool interviews and a lot of people I want to talk to and everything. But after a while, it really got to the point where I was like, just personally, I was just like, I need someone else doing this. I can't do this alone anymore. It got to be hectic, and it got to be on me, and I'm like, crap, I can't. I need someone else to kind of be there to kind of support me, not directly, but like just to be there, but then when Savvy came on, he's like, let's do this, man. I was like, cool. And I never expected to be this supported. Like, seriously, I love doing this with him, and I could never do this with anybody else, honestly, because it's just,
I think we have a great relationship.
I can tell. You can hear it on the show. Honestly, you can. And like, I don't mind doing it alone, and I love having a new guest host every week. It's the same format. Right. I give them the outline, especially if they listen to it. It's the same format, and it's in that way we don't have to worry about having a guest on. So it was me and host, and then guest. Like Wes would be the third, which would make for a even longer podcast because now we have three people to talk about in a movie with instead of two. And so now it's just instead of two co-hosts and guests, it's me and guest co-host.
Right. Right.
And it works for me. The part where I'm having issues with time wise is the editing part of it. Because that's so time consuming. Yep. So anyway, this all started with my not having time to keep up with everything. I am getting ready to probably start doing it again. Talked about it with Wes. He's going to make a triumphant return, and we're going to do it. It's a horror podcast style. We're going to rank all the Saw movies, which is quite an endeavor because there's like 10 of them.
There's a lot.
That doesn't include Spiral, right?
Right. We're going to include Spiral, but so I guess 11, right?
And there's one coming out next year.
There's one coming.
Holy shit! We got to hurry up.
Get on it.
No, seriously. We gotta get this figured out.
Yeah, so Wes is going to come back. I'm having different people come back. I have some of my fabulous gays on as co-hosts, and they're always the funnest to talk with, right? Because they're so amazing. And when I started the new year doing this new guest co-host format, so I did that for 3 months, and it was amazing. It was great. And so I'm happy with that. Part of it is just finding the time to get it all done. I was frazzled, I was tired, and I just couldn't get it done all at the same time. So I just decided to take a break. I didn't intend for the break to be like 8 months, but here we are. And I'm definitely going to be coming back for sure soon, I hope. I'm feeling a little less frazzled now and ready to jump back in. But as you know, you both know, especially Wes, you've talked about it on the show. You just got to take a step away and take a breather every now and then.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
You have to. Otherwise you get overworked and overstimulated. And then
burnt out. On life.
Burned out. You just,
on life.
Yeah. It's just,
Yeah, we had that experience. We had that experience, and it was, we went a little while without recording an episode, and like, I didn't even know if we were coming back for sure at the time. We didn't really talk about it. It just happened. So I was like, is it dead? Is it not dead? But at the same time, like, listen, I know Wes does the editing, he's got his family life. He's working, he's working nights. I'm like, all due respect. I'm like, I'm here if you want to do it, if you don't want to do it, I totally understand.
But I was like, and when you said it to me, I was like, I cannot go on and not do this. Like, I needed this break to kind of get my mind straight, my head straight. But I was like, I got to get back. And I said, yeah, I'm ready, man. And let's just do it. And we just hop back in, and here we go.
Yeah, and more than a show. I mean, this is. I feel like for me, this is me talking to my friend and hanging out. And we all know as you get older, you have less time that you kind of just hang out with your friends than you did when you were younger. And so for me, that's kind of what this experience is all about, and that's what makes it so fun and enjoyable in our conversations. Is it's two buddies shooting the shit, meeting up, and that's the basis of our whole show.
Isn't technology a beautiful thing?
Right?
It really is.
Without
right? We've never met in person. So.
For
But like Instagram, we talked about it earlier. It's where a lot of things start. And a lot of my friendships that I have now, I have a few that I don't know through Instagram, but a majority of my friends are from Instagram. Yeah. And I wouldn't have that without technology. So it's
crazy.
People can talk about all they want to, but I'm like, I don't give a shit.
There's a lot of negative. It's just the problem is with technology is that it's got to be used the right way, and unfortunately, the percentage of us that use it the right way is very small. And so we've lost that human touch with a lot of the younger generation, because and the reason why you and I know how to do it the right way is because we didn't grow up with this.
Right.
It wouldn't be the same
Thank
if we
God.
were too.
Oh my
exactly,
God.
right? It wouldn't be the same show if we were pretending like we've been in a video store before. I used to work at Blockbuster, and you used to go to video stores all the time.
Dude, have you watched a podcast with like younger kids that do it? Have you watched one of those before?
It's like, me. I'm not part of the YouTube generation, man. For me, it's very
my daughter.
I open that app to either watch a trailer or watch a music video, and that's it.
But dude, listen. My daughter watches one right now with like 4 kids. They're probably between the ages of like, I would say 15 and 19.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Hey, how do you relate? How do you connect?
I tried, and it's like they have no idea what they're doing. They're all sitting in these chairs, like, oh God, it's a mess. It's an absolute man. I'm going, how do you watch that crap? It's like, it's so good, so funny. I'm like, you would think that when you.
Yeah.
Oh my God! It's like I can't. But anyway,
that's all good.
Not to disparage everyone,
that's okay.
Everyone
because you know
has
what?
their
In the
own
end,
thing. It's just not my thing, man.
That's the Scream 5
that younger generation.
Right? Oh.
They
I didn't like
they
it at
love
all.
the features. No, I'm saying you've heard. You'll get. I don't know if you've heard those episodes yet, but yeah.
Just wait.
I've heard. I'm up
to.
Mean. Where am I up to with you guys? Stand by.
Yeah.
I am.
Leah, tell us what episode you're.
I am on. I just finised your pizza episode.
All right.
And I don't.
It's fresh in your mind.
I don't have my glasses
I like that.
on. Give me a second.
Well, I think
that's
the next day or the next episode post was literally like the cheese pool was like that was on the post. I'm like, it has to be cheese pool.
I just begun. I'm 1 minute into Late Night with the Devil.
Ooh. Okay.
So that one was released in April 29,
so we've gotten into our
and then
groove
you
at
took
this
your
point.
break. and came
Yeah,
back on September 30th.
Mhm.
And so there's 4. I have 4 more to go before I'm caught up.
Summer vacation. Summer vacation to go, and we had to do. Yes.
Yeah, right. So I got 4 more to go, and then I'm caught up, and I'm very excited. But I'm also very sad because I'll be like, I want more now.
We'll
Give
be
me
pumping out more.
more.
So.
We're trying to shoot one of these every week. So,
But also,
trying to,
guys, I think what you need to do, and you've obviously done it, is what I struggled with this break was. I was 1 week late. I'd never missed a week from November 19 or whenever this launched to March something of 2024. Never missed a week ever. Had enough backlog so that if something scheduling popped up, then I was able to. We were fine, and then we double record, right?
Yep.
So. I'm like, okay, so I missed a week. No big deal, but it is a big deal because I was actually getting texts. Where's the episode?
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
you
solid,
actually
though.
care?
Yeah.
First of all, you noticed?
That's awesome.
What? And second of all, I felt bad. I'm like, fuck, I know. I'm just really behind. I'm sorry. And I felt bad and then I'm like, it'll be out next week, I promise. And then it did. And then a couple more weeks went by, and then I again missed an episode. I missed April Fool's Day episode. It's recorded. It's still sitting in my box unedited. Right? It's recorded. but yeah, and my fabulous gay Brian is on it. It's great. It's gonna be so funny. He's hilarious.
Release it as a back.
Yeah, so it's coming back for sure. But I have 2 more episodes unedited too, which I got to get on.
You got just use those as like your buffer. So
right. But I was also like, I was feeling bad, like that I couldn't get it done every week. And what you guys have conquered is it can be every other week, or it can be every week, or it can be every 3 weeks, or you're going to miss a couple of months without saying so, and it's going to be fine. The world's not going to fall apart because you missed an episode. Your credibility is still there even though you missed an episode, which
it does suck though.
Yeah, so I was
I know,
like,
I get you. But hey, if you're getting that demand, that's great. That means that you are successful with it, and there are people that are like looking forward to it. When's the next episode coming? And especially if it's more than like one person, and that's awesome.
And I know Wes got the same thing with It's a Horror Podcast because I was one of them who was like, I'm like, where's this week's episode, yo?
I'm like, I'm working on it.
And that's when you guys
I just step away.
And that's when you guys went to bi-weekly.
Yeah.
Right. But to be fair, your show took a whole lot more research than mine does. You got to research one movie with mine. You have to watch a series of movies with yours.
Seriously. So it could be easy. Sometimes we have like 3 or 4 movies, and sometimes we'd have 12, even 15. Because one was 13. So it was a lot.
So it's a lot.
But luckily, honestly, I was lucky at the time to be doing that podcast then because I had a job where I could later watch movies at work. So I would go, all right, I'm going to knock out these 2 tonight and then those 2 tomorrow night, whatever. So I could actually watch.
Sorry, guys, you can hear that siren.
Is your house on fire or something?
No, I live near a police station, and
you're so hot. You're so hot. You're so hot that the house is on fire now. Okay, I got you.
Sounded like a creaky screen door. I thought you had a ghost.
I mean, maybe.
I was about to get excited.
Show me. But no, I mean, like I said, I got real lucky with that podcast because it just worked out the way it did, and and sometimes I do miss that show, and but I think honestly it was meant for a time.
Yep.
And now I moved on from that time, and I've actually grown and done things better and differently. Definitely. And so
different doesn't always mean worse or better. It's just different.
Yeah. It's different. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
but I had to
death
come.
And,
Yeah, man, I had to come to terms with the fact that I can't commit to getting all this done because I'm one person.
You have to. You have to.
For
You
sure.
look in the mirror and go,
you got a crazy busy schedule you're working around.
Yeah, you're working like 18 jobs and, all this stuff. So,
plus conventions.
Plus conventions. And you got to go like, a million conventions, and then you're doing that, and you're doing the work, and you're eating
at
pizza,
least
and
10
you're making
a year.
pizza, and you're doing laundry, and, being badass. And it's at the end of the day, you're, what the hell?
Eating pizza.
I can't even breathe. I'm eating pizza.
Yeah,
no, and it's especially because you are, a horror movie fan. And I know we all know that what you want to do is just kind of unwind and put your feet up, order that. Maybe you're sick of pizza. Who knows? Order something.
Well, honestly, I wouldn't say I'm depressed exactly.
Yeah.
I'm sad a lot. But I'm going to bring the show way down, guys. We're running it into the ground.
I totally understand that.
No,
and when you're a creative person and that hits you, I mean, if you're not like a songwriter or a poet, it really kills your creative vibe of wanting to do anything. And I was there for a long time myself.
I don't even want to like clean my house. My apartment is a sty. It's literally disgusting. Doing this episode had forced me to actually clean up my living room a little bit because you couldn't even walk in it because there was shit everywhere. Like literally open suitcases, got boxes, garbage, everything. And it's like, it's not unsanitary, it's just cluttered. And I get chair I'm sitting in lives over there. So I had to scoot this chair all the way over here. And that meant I had to clean a little bit. But all I want to do for the past 6 months, and honestly for the past year and a half even, you know, I went through a separation with my husband, really bad situation. Then I started dating someone, and then that was really amazing. But then he broke my heart, left me for another broad who he got married to. Like what? And then, and so I've just been very sad. And all I want to do when I get home from work is take a shower and go directly to bed. And maybe get a glass of water from the kitchen and go directly to bed and watch my phone. And what I'm watching on my phone is not, it might be movies. Usually I binge TV shows on Tubi or something. Like I did Baywatch for a few seasons because they put that on Pluto and Tubi. Diagnosis Murder because I love me some Diagnosis Murder, damn it, you know. And shut up, shut up. A few months ago, I you know, Tubi put on Designing Women. So I was like,
Suzanne Sugarbaker.
And I love me some Delta Burke. I'm gonna watch me some Designing Women, and I'll just lay in bed with my phone watching Designing Women for 5 hours. And then I'm like, well, I guess I should go to sleep now. And meanwhile, my apartment's a wreck. My kitchen's a disaster. My laundry is taller than I am. And all I want to do is just lay down and do nothing. And that's been the slump I've been in for about a year and a half. And so I'm really just trying to force myself to clean and watch some movies and force myself to do things like that I know I'm going to enjoy, like watch a movie, but like go to watch a movie.
Saw. Personally, what I think might help you with that is once you like push yourself to get that area like clean, it's like you're gonna want to sit in it and enjoy it and like get that movie on, put your feet up, and like you can actually focus on the TV and not the stuff around you.
That is true.
I know the feeling. I mean, before we did the podcast, I went through a separation with my ex. That's, you know, still a mess, but and then got, you know, I met someone else, got into another relationship. But before that, everything. My last relationship ending was me disappearing from Instagram for like 3 years. It was, it's,
I've disappeared from everywhere. Like I still am. I'll have trouble posting to Instagram and stuff. Posting.
It's hard to get back into it afterwards.
Facebook. I'll post funny memes on Facebook, but I used to be way more funny on Facebook.
Oh man, your Instagram was just fucking amazing. And your memes were brilliant.
It's amazing for Instagram's amazing for programming. So I'll program a week's worth of shit, and I don't have to think about it again for a week. You know, so I love Instagram because I can just program everything in and then not think about it again.
Right. Yeah, the scheduling stuff is amazing. I love it. I love it.
So it's just trying to work on getting myself out of the slump. I've been treating myself to going to some Broadway shows. Broadway.
That's great.
Broadway tours make a stop in Chicago a lot. And so if there's a show I want to see, instead of making an excuse like, oh, I don't have time, oh, I don't have the money, I just force myself to go and do it. And I've seen some really amazing shows because of that I would always make excuses to not do. I'm taking myself to go see things like I went to go see Terrifier 3 in the theater, and that was great. I wasn't in the mood to see it. I wasn't in the mood to leave the house or put pants on. Or put shoes on, but This is my only day that I'm going to get to see it, and I want to make sure I go and support my boys while it's still in the theater.
Right.
So I forced myself to go do it. I went to go see Stream, the other movie they made, and then
was that good?
It was fun. It was
Yeah?
fun.
All right, I gotta see that.
I wanted to check that one out. It looked interesting.
It's a lot more indie than Terrifier as far as feel goes, but
Yeah.
still quality.
I love indie stuff.
More indie than the first Terrifier.
About this, it's on the same level as the first Terrifier.
Okay.
Quality wise.
Okay.
So higher quality, which is still not like Hollywood.
More my thing. More my thing. Wes loves his super low end.
See,
stuff.
it's not.
Give me that
it's
trash.
Not
Give me
super
that trash.
low. It's good. It's a good theater movie, and the gore was great. It was great. And
Nice.
so I saw that, and then Wes knows, which is why you just mentioned it. I went to go see the original Saw. It got a re-release for the 20-year anniversary.
Nice.
So I went to go see that, and I never got to. I've never seen any of the Saws in the theater.
Oh, I was lucky enough to see the first one. I came in before
late
anyone knew what it was. It was great.
I came in late on
No
the
idea
Saw
what I was
game. I
getting
came in
into.
on the third one,
Yeah.
and then I saw the first. I saw the first.
I saw the
three.
first like 6 or so, whatever they were. They used to release them every year on Halloween.
Yeah.
Until Paranormal Activity came out, and then that kind of took over Halloween. And
Then
I
it
was
bumped
pissed
it out of
because
the
I
way,
hate
yeah.
Paranormal Activity, but I love the Saw movies. So
Paranormal Activity is boring.
Yeah,
I
right.
love those. I love those.
Really?
My trash right there. Those are my trash.
Yeah.
movies,
I
man.
feel bad about saying that
Yeah.
because the people involved are lovely people.
That's
But
great, but
for
like,
me,
yeah,
they're
the found
boring.
footage thing. I was totally agree with you. Now, the first one. Now I used to work at the theater when it came out, and they asked. I used to, once in a while, I'd stay after work and they'd pay you extra to sit and screen a movie to test the reels.
Right.
And that was one that I did, and I didn't know anything about it, and realized as I'm watching it, that I looked it up, and all this hype about this movie, and I couldn't stay awake. I'm like, I'm watching people sleep, and it's 1 a.m.
I mean, true. It was a bad situation.
I had
It was
a
a bad
similar-
situation.
I had a similar situation. I rented it because everyone told me it was the scariest movie they'd ever seen. And
Oh man, the marketing was great.
I was like, really, dude?
Yeah.
And so I watched it on fast forward until I saw dialogue
This is getting
happen.
double teamed here.
Sorry, Wes. No, I need my dialogue. I need some.
I'm tapping out.
Right?
The whole 15 minutes that they spoke to each other were
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Especially since it was
the-
100% improv. Brilliant shit
Yeah.
right there. But the sitting and
there you
watching
go.
people sleep and something fall off a table, I don't have any interest.
I'm with you.
But it was like kind of original in that idea. I mean, it was not totally original, of course, but it was. That's why I liked it.
Here's
so
the
much,
thing,
'cause it
man.
was just like-
You know me. I'm picky with my found footage. Some
you're
of them
very
I like
picky.
cheesy. Like I love the Hell House LLC movies and stuff like that. And like
those,
those are cheesy, but they're great.
Those are easier
but when
for
you
me
have
because there's conversation happening.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
true.
and even better for me, the ultimate found footage movies are the ones that it doesn't feel like you're watching a movie at all. Like Blair Witch Project, when that came out, for me that was like brilliant. Like I'm like, I don't even know, like I think I'm watching actors. Like this is just people.
So good.
And then there's
So
some that
good.
everyone hated. Like one of my favorites is The Devil Inside,
That's
which
a great one.
people hate it. They hate it, but they hate it because the ending, and it doesn't end well. Like it just doesn't end. But I'm like,
I
it's
know I've
found
seen
footage.
That. I am
Yeah.
blanking on it. I'm looking
It's
it up.
it's the exorcism one where she goes to Italy to check out an exorcism school, and her mother is there, I believe, because her mother had committed murder, and she was in an
Right. She's the one
asylum.
that has like thing inside of her lip. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the end of the movie just stops, and I'm like,
Okay.
well, for a series,
I remember
like that
this
would
now.
suck if you build up for like 2 years, watching a series. But for a found footage film, I'm like, that's exactly what would happen. There would be no
Yeah.
filming after this. Like that's where it ends.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where found footage gets
I
good,
like
is the
that.
fact that you're,
Yeah.
it's like that's why I like paranormal activities, because it's literally these people are going through this hard time, and you're just watching their experience.
Yeah.
I
love
get
shit
you, but
like
there was
that.
some
I'm good
moments in
with
that
their
movie
hard
where he's like,
time,
should we
but I need
contact a
something to
demonologist? Like,
happen.
nah.
I need something to
Whatever.
happen. I don't want to
Yeah,
watch
yeah,
you sleep.
Shh. Whatever.
I'd rather be asleep. Thank you. I love
Yeah.
sleeping. It's my favorite thing ever.
Yeah. I'm
I hate
Literally what I
sleeping,
like
and
to
I'd
do.
rather be asleep.
I'm gonna get my mug for a while. I'll just talk
I
amongst
love
yourselves.
sleeping. It's like death without
I'm
the
feeling the
commitment. It's
cleanse.
my favorite activity. I love sleeping.
Yeah.
So I'd
I'm
rather
not a
be sleeping.
sleeper.
But
guys are
I'll give
nuts.
Paranormal Activity this. The storyline they built over the first 4. I haven't seen the 5th one. Was really fun, right? And so I
Yeah,
love
something going.
I love the story. I love the actors they got for it. I love the twists and the turns they did later on. I really, really, really did. So I would just watch them on fast forward until there's some dialogue going on, and then I'm ready to go. So, but Katie and Micah are lovely, lovely people. They're so great.
Yeah,
just
nothing against the people that made the movie at all.
Yeah,
I'm glad they put out some
just
content, you know.
Because obviously some people like great things and other people don't. So I mean, it's.
Well, people love great things. People love that movie. So I think I'm wrong. Maybe I'm entitled to my wrong opinion. I know.
I don't know. Yeah,
everyone has an opinion.
Here's the thing with Paranormal Activity was when I worked in the theater and realized the people that were walking out loving the movie, and yes, there are horror fans that love the movie as well, but a lot of it was people that don't watch any horror movies.
No,
and
you're right.
They went in and they were like, and I remember a big time because I had an ex-girlfriend and her friends watching. They were like, oh, they were terrified while we were watching it because I saw it twice. They were terrified. They were like, oh my God, like gripping their seat when like the door opens and stuff. And I'm like, you know how many times have we seen that happen?
A billion.
Usually there's something there to scare you too.
but something was brilliant. The fact that you're expecting something and it's just not there.
And
that's great.
But no, I know. I get you. They tried to build like a Jaws momentum, but like, you know, it wasn't Spielberg.
But, you know, it's found footage, so you can't expect too much of it, you know, especially at the time. So
for an independent movie, good for them, you know.
And I'm very proud of them for the success they had with it, and they treated their actors well.
That's good.
Unlike the Blair Witch people.
No, I know that they did not treat
them
well.
And
they
so
they kind of screwed them out of some money.
Screwed out a lot of success and money. And
for sure.
Career moves. And so, but they all ended up where they were supposed to end up. A lot. Two of them at least. Got sober after that movie, and so
that's
good.
And on that sober journey, there might have been 3. I know at least 2 of them did, and so they are where they're supposed to be in life for themselves.
Yeah.
So it all did kind of work out in the end, even though it sucks.
Unfortunately, things happen for a reason a lot of the time. You know, doesn't always seem like it while you're going through it, but. You get to the other side sometimes, you see behind you and the path that you wouldn't have chosen any other way because it's kind of gets you to where you are.
You know what, though?
I think we all can agree with that, you know, so.
I really wish, I say it all the time, I said, I know exactly where I started to fuck my life up. I can give you the exact moment.
I know the exact day.
Yes! And it was just all downhill from there. I just kept making it worse. And I keep saying, I want to go back to when I was 14 years old again, to 1997. And start over. I know, but you're all like butterfly effect. I'm like, don't care. Don't care. I could totally bypass all this shit. I don't care. But I have new ideas on how to mess things up. So I want to try this.
I want to try those out, damn it. Yeah.
Instead, I got new ideas. But yeah, and like I would go back to 13 years old just to be safe. Just a little farther to start over again, knowing what I know now and knowing what I could change. And I think would still probably be a disaster, but it would be a different disaster and it'd probably be a better one.
I mean, we know.
My one thing that I hope for you, Summer, is that you experience something fucking phenomenal in the days to come that makes you not give a shit about any of those years that fucked up. And
there you go.
Then you're just, that's it. Like then you wouldn't want it any other way, you know?
True.
I've been
I think both Savvy and I have both reached that point.
Yeah.
Because we were both like, fuck, this is such bullshit. Let's just go back and change it all.
I've almost checked out a few times. And I get you.
So, but then you either meet that person or you get that certain thing that you have always wanted, or your life's going in the right direction. And it's like, you don't want to go back. You're like, this is.
It happens overnight. It happens in a moment. So like, I just hope that happens for you real soon. And then you just, fuck the rest of what happened before. Cause I think about too, like I've had a fucking interesting run to say the least for the last while. And, if I avoid that, I would not have met the person I'm with today. I wouldn't be feeling the way I am now. Who knows? I might still be depressed. I might still be in a bad place. But
because he met me, that's what it was. He was like,
I
my girlfriend's
that
great,
though, because Wes makes everything better.
Yeah. No, Wes, I'm very happy to have known Wes. Wes was there for me while I was dealing with a lot of it.
Well, and vice versa. I mean, when we all know some shit went down with me, and really the only person that was always there for me was this guy right here. Yeah. And it was weird because it was like, I kept thinking he's going to find out something in from someone else that's not true, but he's going to be like, okay, well, I guess I don't leave that in jet.
Yeah.
But he totally just stuck with it, and I'm like, dude, that's phenomenal. It's unreal.
Aside from the bullshit that I've gone through in my life, whereas sometimes I blind myself to this, I'm very good at reading people, and I don't like to believe what other people say about people. It's more about my experience with them. Because everyone gets fucking shit. And the more people know you, the more shit you're gonna get. That's kind of how it works, you know. Like, yeah, if you have like 2 friends, it's not as likely to happen. If you have 8 friends, it's like 10%, 20% likely more to happen to you. It's how life goes. People can be shitty as just as often as they can be good, if not way more. So we all know this.
Very true.
Yeah, man, and
Sadly,
social media, like the drama
it's very
and bullshit
competitive
of social
and dramatic.
media. It's like, oh my god,
Mm-hmm.
really?
The drama can get so intense, and it's just,
I know. I've seen it.
So dumb.
Wes,
so
I wanted to say that I'm so happy for you, because I knew you in your dark days too, right? Though not as well as Savvy, because I'm a girl, so I don't think you were coming to me with your problems. You know what I mean? You were gravitating more towards your male friends, right? Right? Who could relate to your male plight a little more. I mean, that's the same thing with me and my girls, right? Right?
Yeah. Right.
So, but I'm so happy for you and your relationship and your new marriage. And I was so thrilled when I saw that on Instagram that you tied the knot again. And
I never thought I'd do it.
I know you
like,
didn't, which is why I was like, oh,
done. But
he
but
found
like,
someone who made him forget about that terrible experience before. And is so happy, and that filled me with so much joy in that moment to see that. I'm so happy.
Thank you very much. I do appreciate it, and like I said, you two have definitely impacted me a lot in my life, and I really do appreciate both of you a lot. So
hey, got you, brother.
Yeah, we both do.
Yeah.
Whatever you need, right. I'm sure.
That's right.
Yeah, man.
Well, cool.
Well, I think you have enough, Wes. You could actually make 2 episodes out of this. I'm not even kidding. Like we could go for another 15 minutes, and then you could have a twofer.
I think we should definitely just. I mean, I guess you could chop it up. I guess, but
if you want it.
I'm a purist. I like to just keep it all together, and I'm just going to be like, this is one epic episode.
Oh, for sure.
That's
like we've considered doing live shows, because we're so let's just get out there.
We should
neither of us is afraid to do it.
The 3 of us, that would be so fun.
Seriously, I'm actually going to look into the software you use, because I think I have to actually upgrade to another plan to even go live. So I think I'm going to have to look into that and check that out.
Well, let me know
all about. But of course, man.
Yeah, it's great. Or we, if you're uncertain, if you want to go live, we could use my account.
True.
No big deal.
Well, I guess we'll use it when we're doing one together, so I'll be able to see how it all works, and that's kind of cool. So.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do for sure.
Yeah,
it's going to be great.
Perfect.
I would like to send a formal invitation to Savvy to be a guest on the Dolls of Horror when I get ready to go again.
Anytime.
I'll send you the format. I'll send you an episode to listen to. It's 2 hours, but it's worth it.
That's okay. Listen, I'll do my research. I'm not worried about that.
It's worth it. You're gonna have so much fun. Have you seen Motel Hell?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one of my favorite new episodes because my fabulous gay was on it. And he's hilarious. So I'm going to send you that one to listen to. So
I'll check
funny.
it out.
So you'll kind of get the format a little bit.
I'll throw the movie on and then I'll watch it.
Yeah, and then you'll pick a movie that you want to talk about, and we'll just do it, man. It's going to be great. And Wes and I, we're going to be doing the It's a Horror podcast style of ranking all.
That'll be it. I'll actually want to check that out. That's going to be interesting.
You definitely got to watch that.
I've guessed it on a pretty technical podcast, but I think you guys are going to do it in a really fun way.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Yeah. And Wes is going to have to guide me through because I have not really ever done a ranking one. And he said he'd do a fun little transition bit for me.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to compile one for the episode. Yes. So I've not done one in so long, but I'm definitely going to get it going again for that one.
And we're going to bring aspects of the show. So I told him when he's rewatching these movies to pick an epic line if he has one, and then a favorite kill or a favorite trap. So those are the 2 segments that we're definitely going to bring in to this. And then we're going to do the It's a Horror podcast format of ranking, which is so hard. I can tell you which one's my favorite one, which I'm not going to. I'm going to save it for the show. But I cannot.
That's easy, though. That's the easy part. Yeah. The hard part is getting everyone that comes after that.
Yeah, well, it's for me, it's easy, but it's probably not everyone's favorite though. So
That's why don't give any hints, but that's the best part of the show.
Yeah,
so everyone always tuned in to find out.
Exactly,
so.
but finding the ranking the others, because I love them all in their own way, with the exception of maybe one of them, which I was just meh on. But I might change my mind when I rewatch it because it's been years.
True.
You know?
That happens.
Yeah, we need to figure out.
That happens
we need to figure
a
out
lot.
Yeah. Well, of course it does because you're savvy. So.
Scream
you gotta let me
Jesus.
know when. Yeah, Scream Jesus.
See, I'm a fan. I'm listening.
See, he is Scream Jesus. He will always be Scream Jesus.
That one really stuck, eh?
It really did. It really did. But yeah, definitely let me know when that's going to happen so I can start. I need to start watching them now.
Yeah,
so
start watching them now because I've started. I'm up to the 4th one.
All right, so I need to catch up then.
Yeah, so start now. Hopefully, maybe in a month. We can start trying to pin down a date and a time to get this done. Now that's what I'm aiming for. But yeah, just watch them and take your notes so you just have them, because that's what I'm doing. I'm just slowly checking them off, and then I'll rank them later. But I'm just doing my individual notes now.
Because that may change, like you said, that may change between now and then. So that's perfect. So
I'll probably make a game time decision day of and rank right before we record. I'm just working on the details now. The supporting evidence on why it's my favorite or least favorite. And shit pick.
There you
go.
We
gotta have a shit pick.
Gotta have a shit pick. You gotta have a shit pick. That's
That's my favorite part of everything.
Yeah, but that came out of literally just like I don't know what Kevin said something about it, and I was like, we should do talk about the worst one we don't like, or there's something that relates to the show or relates to the movie or whatever. So it's birthed out of just necessity. Honestly, it was hilarious, but it was one of my favorite parts of the show. So
fun. Anyway, I'm so excited. I love you boys. I'm so excited to have Savvy on. I'm so excited to have Wes on. I'm so excited to be on your show, guys, because I always wanted to be a guest on It's a Horror podcast.
You're the first guest here, so I mean, you started off something new for us. So
there you go.
Definitely it's been a great experience too. Like I was a little worried. I was like, what's it going to be like with someone else on the show? 'Cause we had one person on Into Our podcast, and it didn't go well at all.
It didn't?
And I was
because it sounded good on my end.
It was the clown episode, and the girl that was on there, she was so sweet, but she just did not know how to make things flow, and I felt bad. But
you had another one. You did it in a hotel room with someone. It was another guy. I think it was
Adam.
Hills Have Eyes.
It was Adam. It was no, it was I know what you did last summer, I think.
Was it? Yeah.
I think so.
I think
or something like that.
I thought you did one with someone for The Hills Have Eyes. I thought. I could be so wrong. It's been years.
Maybe we did. Because I know we did one at the con we went to, the Horror Hound, Indiana.
Yeah.
Or, no, Indiana was in yeah. But then I did one with Kevin in the hotel room. We went to Kansas City, and then
so
like I said, we had that one girl on.
It wasn't terrible for my listeners. It might be terrible for you because you're extra critical, but it wasn't terrible for me as a listener. It was fine.
True.
It was fine.
Well, the one with Adam was. The one with Adam was great for the fact that Adam was just part of the show anyway, and he was just kind of he was like officially part of the podcast, so that wasn't a weird thing. But I'll look back at that one because I'll listen to that.
When I finish with you guys, I'm gonna go back and listen to It's a Horror all over again. I'm gonna start from episode 1 all over and then start going again, just because for old time's sake.
Nice.
But you know how we revisit our movies? I'm revisiting your show.
That first episode. Okay, all right. Listen with a whole new perspective. Then, so the first episode we did was zombies. I did that while I was working. I did
at work.
I was on the clock at work.
That's awesome.
So listen, knowing that.
That's awesome.
It was crazy. But then the rest of them, like a lot of them we did, I was in my truck outside at work because I said the internet was crap at my house, so I had to go places. But I just go to my office because we can get good Wi-Fi out there. And then we started doing I would actually go into my building and do it in there. But the progression was hilarious because we started off with literally just a phone and Apple earpods or whatever in my ear. So it was definitely one of those things of like, this is bare bones.
That's how I started.
Now, I got a whole setup. I got a freaking microphone and a laptop and a camera and backdrop, and so it's
Yeah, that's how we did it. It was awesome because of you, man.
Yeah.
Because
Here
of
we
you,
are.
sir. It's all your fault in the best way.
It is.
No,
It is all my fault.
but
Blame me.
yeah, I'm going back. I'm going to be listening to all the It's a Horror podcast all over again, just for old times.
Blame me for your success. Blame me for your success. Let's put it that way.
I do. This is all the success I have. It's all your fault. Anyway, I'm sorry. I ramble. I talk a lot. Clearly,
No, it's okay.
I made you run for like 2 hours.
That's what it's all about.
No,
That's what it's all about.
It's totally fine.
But I
The
love
wife
this.
is like, "Where are you at?" It's like, "Where are you at?" I'm like, "I'm coming."
Yeah.
Chill.
No, I was
But,
also nervous about coming on because you're like my little podcast mentor, and I'm like, I hope I do good.
You did great. You did great.
It's been
This is a
great.
great episode. I think people are going to enjoy listening to this, honestly. So, but I definitely want to talk to you about your convention stuff and all like that. So I just was wanting to know all about that. So I was like, because I was just going to ask you, but I was like, you know what? Let's wait for the podcast. It'd be interesting to interview her. And so, but well, thank you so much for joining us. Seriously, we had a great time.
Thank you for having me. I hope to do it again. This
Summer
is so
Flynn.
Oh, we hope to have you back.
From Dolls of Horror. I mean, seriously,
Anytime,
she's
guys.
great. Definitely, we definitely have you back on. So
anytime.
And also, again, going back to the very first of the show here, it is Halloween week. It's almost there, guys. Soak up these, and of course, when this comes out, it's going to be after the fact. So we hope you had a great Halloween and,
of course,
great time. I hope you did something spooky for the actual day, but hope you just enjoyed, September and October. I always start in September.
Every day is Halloween in our hearts.
That's
It
true,
is for
but
us,
I
for
really,
sure.
but I really get into it. Love,
Yeah.
End of September and October. I really just dive head in first, or dive in head first. So we're getting talk, but
Dive head in
we
first.
got a great one. Head in first. Well, I guess you could say it that way too. But yeah, tell us below what you did for Halloween. If you did something fun for Halloween, tell us in the comments because we want to hear about all that stuff. So we definitely going to be pumping up some more episodes here in the next few weeks. I definitely want to talk about some extra movies that we've been watching that come out, maybe a little Terrifier 3. I really want to talk about that movie so much. So
I know you do. I haven't wait. I'm trying to wait for December.
I
really
know,
hard.
but that'll be later. It'll be later.
I love
We'll look forward to
nothing
that
more than Christmas horror. It's my favorite subgenre of
Same.
horror.
Oh, yeah.
So the fact that it was Christmas, I wish that I really wish the release had been delayed till December. Honestly,
That's
True,
my
but-
thing. That's my thing.
But he hit
you know.
with the irons hot though. He hit with the irons hot.
Yeah.
You have to.
They
so I understand as
financially
well.
they made the right move.
Oh, totally.
but it
Completely
was
saw it. I mean,
a joy.
highest grossing highest rated unrated film of all time.
Yeah.
Come on. That's incredible.
Oh, I'm so
so
proud of
highest
them.
grossing. It's I know.
I'm
David did a
so
great job, and
proud.
Damien, all of them just killed
Yep.
it. So
The behind the scenes people in it.
all of them.
I
It's
mean,
incredible.
all the little cameos they had in part 3. Have you guys both seen part 3?
No. I'm trying to wait till
Oh,
December.
gotcha.
I'm doing my best.
So even just
I
the
have.
cameos, like the mall photographer, that's their rep who books them at conventions.
Oh, is it really?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I'm like,
I met one of the producers
That's so
actually.
cool.
I was like that Leonardo DiCaprio meme. I'm like,
Yeah.
You're like,
yes. I'm like, that's Bob.
I know that is. That's so cool. That is so cool.
There's so many little Easter eggs in that movie that if you know them personally, it's so cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm being paged over here, so we're gonna wrap this up.
I know. I'm
but
sorry.
then- that's okay. It's okay. Thank you so much for being on, though. And guys, hope you had a happy Halloween, happy October, and look for some great stuff coming from Summer and Dolls of Horror. My episode, Savvy's episode, all the other episodes. We're definitely gonna have some fun with those. So,
Hell yeah.
but again, thank you so much for staying in the horror section with us. So, for me,
We camped out in the
We're
horror
savvy.
section.
Yeah.
yes, we
did.
can't. We set up shop in the horror section. And for running into Summer, good to see you in the horror section, Summer. Thank you again for being on the show.
Thanks for having me, man. It's an honor.
Definitely. And we will see you next time. So take it easy.
Take it easy. Adios.